Those two joint accounts you have together, the bill-paying one and the savings. Should the man put in more money than the woman?
Your check, my check, should go into the account. Then the decision is made how much goes into your personal to do what you want to do and how much goes into my personal to do what I want to do. You gotta have your own life.
Hello? Is anyone on? Let me in, please. It is me, BOA. So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. You know, when men are in situations, relationship-wise, or really in any facet of life, when you are living a certain way, that's really all you can speak to men about. So when you hear men give advice that wouldn't apply to a man who's in their situation, you ask yourself, who are they giving advice to? Or whose life are they really trying to ruin? Now, Steve Harvey is a phenomenal speaker, a phenomenal motivator. I mean, if you need somebody to motivate you to get up and get it, man, get out there and get it how you live, Steve Harvey is the man. But if you need somebody to talk to you about how to deal with women in relationships, Steve Harvey is not that guy. Now, recently, somebody sent me a video of Steve giving financial advice to couples. As you know, he's sitting talking to a bunch of women. And the advice that he gave is just not wise for a man who's in a position where he's financially stable, or in Steve's case, filthy rich. He says, basically, that for the relationship to be successful, even if you're the breadwinner, you must give your woman some control over the money. You know good and well I disagree. And I know many of you men do too. And for those of you who always say, well, that's not exactly what he said, open your brain and comprehend the message in the words. Let your woman have access to a portion of your money for herself, and then let her have access to another portion of your money that you can't touch without her approval. Let's take a listen.
Every couple should have 4 bank accounts. The one bank account, that's your joint account, it pays everything that's a necessity to live. The second account, a savings account, where you both agree to put X amount of dollars of that money in it, and it takes 2 signatures to move it. The third and fourth account, she should have her own bank account, and you should have your own bank account. She can do whatever she want to do. She ain't got to check with you and ask, and you can do whatever you want to do, and you ain't got to check with her and ask. And that way, guess what? The bills are paid, you have a roof over your head and a car to drive. You all are trying to save a little bit of money, and you got to have your own life.
Those two joint accounts you have together, the bill-paying one and the savings. Should the man put in more money than the woman?
Your check, my check, should go into the account. Then the decision is made how much goes into your personal to do what you want to do and how much goes into my personal to do what I want to do.
Now, when you hear a man talking like this, we're talking about a man who told women to think like a man. The worst thing in the society is when the women start to think like men, because here's the thing, they can think like a man, but they can't perform like a man. So when Steve starts to talk about relationships, he's speaking from the perspective of a man who willingly, knowingly brought a woman into his life that he was going to have to absolutely provide for, who had a very checkered past when it came to her previous relationships. That is not a man to take advice from. That's a man who went into a relationship prepared to pedestalize his woman. And this is basically what he's telling you. You have your bank account. She has her bank account. Now, there's a lot of money he's talking about. And if you're the breadwinner as a man, the majority of this money is going to be coming from you. So when you talk about a woman having her own account, that's something that his wife told him. That's a demand that his wife put on him. And since he'll do anything to keep the woman, it's okay with him. So like I tell you men all the time, even if you do something that you hate, the more you do it, the less you'll hate it. Why? Because you'll start to accept it as a normal part of your life, and you'll have to start focusing on other things. You can't just sit year after year festering over how much you hate this one thing. That's not human nature. Eventually, you're going to make some adjustments. And you're going to acclimate yourself to this being a part of your life. And that's what Steve has done. He's allowed the woman to come in and manipulate him when it comes to his money. Like, let me ask you something. How much sense does it make for you to have a huge mansion, and then when your children get grown, you go and get an even bigger mansion? Who does that? No logical, reasonable, and prudent man does that. Because what you do as a man is when you don't have the family to fill up the space, you downsize the space. No, no, no. Not Steve. Not with Margie. And here's the thing. I don't have nothing bad to say about that man woman because she ain't my woman. Now, if she was my woman, boy, I'd be on here talking and complaining about her all the time. But I don't. But when Steve takes his life, which is a beta male simp vagina existence in his household, and tries to perpetuate that as the way that a man should be if he wants to have a successful relationship, no, that's the way you must be if you want to have a relationship with a woman who really doesn't want you. You were not her first, second, or third choice. And if you want to keep that woman, then you got to break bread. That's what you got to do. You got to give that woman access to the money in the way that she wants. See, for a woman that don't want you, having access to the lifestyle ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? Being able to ask you for stuff ain't enough. Being able to have a business that she wants because you'll help her start it, that ain't enough. A woman who don't want you, she wants your paper. And if a woman wants your paper, you got to give her access to it. You ain't got no choice. A woman either wants you for you or she wants you for what you have. And if she wants you for what you have, you're only going to be able to keep her if you give her what you have. So this mindset that Steve's perpetuating for a man who worked hard his whole life to build his legacy, to build his life, to build his finances, to put himself in a position to win, to make himself a winner, to allow a woman to come in and suddenly become co-owner of the team just doesn't make sense. And that's why I tell you, men, yes, I believe in putting a woman in the wife position if she deserves it, but legal marriage is out of the question. There is no way you should legally tie yourself to a woman in a way that ties her to your income, ties her to your fortune, ties her to your wealth. Even if you're a man who has nothing, what if this thing you've been working on suddenly pops off? Then you put yourself in a position to win, but you can't win because you're already losing. There is no way a man should ever take the advice of a man who has gone through the things that he's gone through to secure his woman the way Steve has gone through. And I'm saying this, if you're a man who wants to go through all of that for a woman, fine, go through all of that for a woman. But most of us don't. Most of us don't want a woman who don't want us. Most of us ain't gonna chase a woman who keep running from us. Most of us ain't gonna wait till the woman get to the point where she can't get the type of man she want and finally settle for her. We're not gonna do that. When you make adjustments to the life that you want to live in order to make a woman happy, you don't have the right to talk to men about anything pertaining to being masculine when it comes to dealing with a woman. You don't have that right. You gave up that right the moment you decided that you would sacrifice yourself for the benefit of a woman. Because that's not what a woman was put here for. She was put here to sacrifice herself for the benefit of you. How you gonna be the helpmeet to a helpmeet? So when you think about your money, man, you got to really think about it from this perspective.
She wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
That's it.
She wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
And the bottom line is, it don't matter what she does after that. I give y'all a perfect example, man. So I had a chick, man, who we were talking it up, and I was talking about, how I need to move to a tax-free state. I'm tired of paying these high state taxes, so I need to move to a tax-free state. So I was running down a couple that I knew, and she told me a couple that she knew, and I was like, yeah, man, because that can add another vacation to the year. If I can stop paying these. And man, the first thing out of her mouth was,
yeah, maybe we can go to Dubai so I can ride four-wheelers in the sand.
I said, what? You talking about ride four-wheelers in the sand? Where do you even get that from? Well, I said, I know you've never gone to Dubai. I know that you don't have any friends or anything in your family who have gone to Dubai. So what celebrity did you get this from? I automatically knew where it came from. It came from a celebrity or something she saw online. I automatically knew it. And she finally told me, man, that it was Dreka Gates, Kevin Gates' wife. And I said to her, Kevin Gates' wife was with Kevin when he didn't have nothing. Before we knew who he was. Before he attained the level of notoriety and brand recognition that could make sure that he could always make money just for being who he is. She rode that hard ride with him. And yes, she deserves to enjoy some of the fruits of her labor of being there, supporting him through what he was going through. He did time, she was there. You know, whenever a woman ride out of bed with you like that, man, and can hold you down like that, and when you come out, she's still there for you, and she ain't did nothing like go have a baby with somebody else or something like that, bro. Let me tell you something. You have to understand that that woman deserves whatever you give her. But if you just met some woman, man, and you was already on, and then you wanted the woman and she didn't want you when you wanted her, when she was in her prime, then suddenly you get her, man, Steve is seeing Marja through the eyes of a man 25 years ago when she was 25 years younger. He live in a fantasy world when it comes to relationships, man. You ain't got no business listening to a man like Steve Harvey when it comes to talking about relationship. When it comes to talk about getting money, hustling, focusing, building your brand, man, creating yourself into an entity, man, that can always be monetized, Steve Harvey is the man. Talk to him. But anyone that Steve Harvey has ever influenced when it comes to dealing with women, deals with women from a position of weakness because they believe that the woman should be in a position of power because she is the prize. This is foul. This is bad advice. And the truth of the matter is this. You see how this woman acts? Should the man put more money in than the woman? Steve didn't want to answer that. You know why? Because Steve put all the money in. I guarantee you the money that Marjorie put in anything is the money she get from Steve. And the truth of the matter is this. I don't even knock her for it. Because if a man can give you access to his paper, man, you got to serve that joker like a waiter. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Trying to become the most alpha version of you. Trying to become the most alpha version of you. Striving to become the most alpha version of you. Fighting to become the most alpha version of you. Welcome to the alphasphere. Get money division. The place where you transform into a man on a mission.